Hello and welcome to a quick and dirty, fairly unbalanced with me, Mike Tallon. Wonderful news today. Donald Trump is guilty of obstruction of justice. Now, okay, it hasn't officially been ruled. He's not going to prison just yet, but he's going to. The penny dropped for me today with a report that came out of Judge Beryl Howell's courtroom. Now, I know that most of us have been distracted by events in New York City, and let's give Stormy Daniels her credit and her due. The woman does cut a distinctive figure through the news, and yet, for all of the joy that has been building in my heart to see that perp walk, the real action was down in Washington and in Mar-a-Lago. And yes, Trump is going to get busted for obstruction of justice. Here's the deal. Judge Beryl Howell made a ruling. Her ruling was that Trump lawyer Evan Corcoran needed to turn over evidence in the form of notes and transcript of a recorded conversation with Donald Trump to Jack Smith, the special counsel. Normally, and the argument that was made by Evan Corcoran, the lawyer, was that this should be protected from discovery by attorney-client privilege. And yet there is, as you know, an exception to that called the crime fraud exception. If the judge reviews the documents of the evidence in camera, in their chambers, and they see evidence of a crime, then that is not attorney-client privilege protected, and it goes to the investigators, which is exactly what happened. So note that first. The judge saw evidence of a crime committed by Donald Trump. The key then is figuring out what that crime was. Evan Corcoran, the lawyer, then appealed that decision, and the appeals court came back with a ruling, quick, that he in fact had to turn it over because they looked at it and they saw, yup, that's a crime. And so Evan Corcoran needs to turn this evidence over. Now, what is the crime of which there was evidence on paper and in a recorded conversation? All of this goes back to the discovery of the documents at Mar-a-Lago. Let's do a chronology. Sometime last year, or actually right when Donald Trump leaves office, he takes a bunch of classified documents from the White House with him, which he is not supposed to do. That in and of itself is illegal. The National Archives, who are supposed to be the custodians of these records, note that the stuff isn't there, and so they contact the Trump people in Mar-a-Lago and they say, "Give the documents back." And Trump predictably says, "Bafongu." The National Archives contacts the FBI eventually, and the FBI says to Trump, "Give them back." And Trump hems and haws, and then the FBI goes to a judge and they get a subpoena and they say, "Give them back." At this point, the Trump people kick back some documents to the FBI. The FBI reviews the documents and they determine, yeah, this is some of them, but it's not all of them. We have evidence that there are still more documents at Mar-a-Lago. Now, they go back to Trump and they say, "You still have documents." This is when the magic happens. Down in Mar-a-Lago, another one of Trump's lawyers, a woman named Christina Bobb, receives an order from Evan Corcoran that she is to write a letter that swears, "I am a lawyer and I affirm that to the best of my knowledge, Donald Trump has turned over all of these documents," which she does. Her legal defense is that in that phrasing, in that letter, she has written, "to the best of my knowledge." But it was Corcoran who told her to write the letter. This then brings us back a step to why Corcoran would do that. And the evidence that Judge Beryl Howell and the appeals court have ordered turned over to Jack Smith is of the conversation that Corcoran had with Trump about those documents and the letter which Christina Bobb would then write. So, what could that conversation possibly have been? My speculation, and I really think this is a chip shot, clearly, since there is evidence of a crime that the judge and the appeals court saw, the conversation, recorded conversation between Corcoran and Trump is, Yes, we know we still have classified documents we're not supposed to have. No, we're not giving them back. Screw the FBI and screw the Department of Justice. And three, hey, Corcoran, tell that lackey of yours, Christina Bobb, to write a letter that swears that we gave it all back, and then this will all go away. And remember, our conversation is attorney-client privileged, so no one will ever find out. Only we have, because Judge Beryl Howell reviewed the evidence of this crime in chambers, and she said, that's a crime. And what is that crime? That crime is very clearly slam dunk obstruction of justice, which carries a 5-year prison sentence. Oh my God, I so want Donald Trump to end his days with gray hair in an orange jumpsuit, and I think finally it may actually happen. Love to you all, unless you're a fascist, and we'll talk to you soon. Donald Trump, thank you for being such a predictably stupid man.